Alright, what I wanted today is make a couple changes to some old decks. So I've got, so I picked this up from my LGS a few days ago. Stonehope Chieftain, 8 mana. Jesus, a lot of mana. For an 8/8, trample indestructible. But, whenever another creature control attacks, it also gains trample and indestructible until the end of the turn. Ooh, that could be good. Kura, the Boundless Sky. You know, I really should see how much a foil one of these is. Hang on a minute. Let's take a look. Journey Retige. Kura. Kura. Oh well, they've got Secret Lair, Secret Tribe Elders. 4 crown. It's about 15 euros. I ain't paying that. Ooh. Ooh, they've got the borderless one for 200 crowns. He looks pretty cool. He looks pretty mean. I mean, what do you think of that? I like that. Well, let's see how much the set Kura is. So set Kura is 125 crowns. Ah, for borderless. How much is bordered? 75 crowns? Do I want to spend 75 crowns for one of these? That's like 2.5 euros. Yeah, maybe later. So, what I want to do with this guy, so as you've been looking at him, so I probably don't have to read him, but I will anyway. For those of you not watching but listening, 3 green for a 4/4, a legendary dragon spirit with flying and death touch. When he dies, I get to do one. I can go find 3 lands in my library, show them off, put them in my hand, then shuffle. So any 3 lands. So if I don't have my Kamal Coffers or my Yavimaya Hollow, any of my bullshit lands, as the genie calls them, I can go find them just by killing this bastard. Or, when he croaks, I can create a XX green spirit creature token, not flying or anything, just a green spirit creature token. Or X the number of lands I control. So that one's not quite as interesting, but still kind of cool. You know what's weird? So let me find something to point with. Here, I'll take this Matrushka pen. So his eyes are here. Can you see that? But looking from distance, his eyes look like these here, kind of, doesn't it? Doesn't that look kind of like his eyes when you're looking from the distance? But when you come down, kind of look in, I guess these green glowing pieces are his actual eyes. Which is weird. This guy's freaky. Oh, Donato Giancola did... Oh my god. I didn't even realize Donato did this. Holy shit. So that's another reason to play it. Who did the full art one? Satoru Senda. So the full art one is actually done by a Japanese guy. So anyway, I want to put that in Carador. So let's take a look. I've got these old decks. I've had Animar for a long time. Animar has been around for long. And the reason that I have this M25 foil is originally I just had the flat one from 2013. And then when the foil got printed, I bought the foil because I like all my commanders to either be foil or altered. Something special about the commander card. And I was thinking about getting the other version, the double mastered version of Animar with the new art, and going ahead and just having my Animar Soul of Hydras as another deck. So this Animar would be for Eskrishna, Soul of Hydras would be for Prague. But I haven't done that. Haven't done that yet at all. So Animar. Blue-green-white, blue-green-red, blue-green-white, Jesus Christ. Blue-green-red. He's got text from black and white. Whenever I cast a creature spell, he gets a counter. +1/+1 counter. And my creature spells cost 1 less for every +1/+1 counter sitting on him. Yeah, so the goal is to get him out as quickly as possible and just start casting creatures. This deck has the most creatures of any deck I own. I'm just taking a look at Moxfield. Let me see, how many creatures do I have in this deck now? 50. Oh shit, 56. He's got 56 creatures, 2 planeswalkers, 2 artifacts, 1 instant, and 1 enchantment. He is creature heavy. So to work in the Stone Hoof Chieftain, I'm going to do what I did in the past, what I started doing recently, which is throwing down cards, and the ones that are questionable, sending them to the side. So land, need those, land. Stratus Dancer. So the colloquial name for this version of Animar is Surprise, Motherfucker. So, Surprise, Motherfucker Animar. He's got a lot of morph creatures, because if I play them for 3 as a morph creature, he gets a counter, and since I'm casting a colorless creature, you may cast. This card face down is a 2/2 for 3. Well, he triggers on cast whenever I cast a creature spell. So if I cast a morph creature, it's color agnostic, and he gets a counter. So if he's got 3 counters, I can cast morph creatures for free. Yeah, baby. So this guy, what does he do again? Okay, Megamorph. 1 and a blue to flip him over, and he's a 2/2 flyer. Which is not terribly impressive. But when he gets turned face up, when he flips over, I can counter an instant or sorcery. So that's pretty good. Okay, land. Yeah, my version of Animar is not cheap. Where is the overall price on this? It used to be really easy to find. Down there at the bottom somewhere. I don't see it. What is his overall price? Is pretty high. Anyway, screw it. You're not here for that shit. So anyway, something I did a few years ago is got a little bit of money. So I bought 1 of each dual land. 7 of them I bought from my friend Ren on credit. Ren is fantastic, and what he let me do is take the cards, and I just paid him a few thousand crowns a month until I paid it off. So that's how I got 7 of the dual lands. And then when I got a little bit of money from another source, I bought the other 3 I did not have, no other 4, because Ren, one of the 7 was a second Taiga. So I bought the other 4 I didn't have, and then I bought a second tropical island, which is sitting in Kestia, because I like to have the cycle. If I only had 1 tropical island, it would not be in Animar. It would be sitting in Edric, because he's green-blue. So Animar, I've got all 3 of the dual lands of his colors, because I want to hit his colors as soon as possible. I want to hit blue, green, red by turn 3, throw him down, and start casting creatures. So that's nice. Rurikthar the Unbowed. I've only got 6 non-creature spells. So the odds of him hitting me are pretty low. The odds of him punching my opponents in the face are pretty high. And if Animar's got 4 counters, he only costs green and red to drop down. 6/6 reaching and vigilance. Yeah, he has attack every turn, but he's pretty beefy. And whenever anybody casts a non-creature spell, he punches them in the face for 6. Any non-creature spell. Artifact, planeswalker, sorcery, and he doesn't care. He's like, "That's not a creature." Eat it, bitch. He stays. This guy. Okay. So I can look at the top card of my library anytime. Cast the top card if it's creature. Spend mana. He's not an attacker. He's one of the enablers. So I've got this mix of answers, enablers, and attackers in Animar. This guy's an enabler, and he's pretty good at his job. Reclamation. I got one of the full art Reclamation Sages in my box of foundations. Maybe I'd put that in Animar. I think I've got it here, so I'll just do that later. Spike Weaver. Okay, comes to play 3+1/+1 encounters. I can remove a counter and put another target creature. This is in here not only to fog, if I need it, but also to put more counters in Animar. So a lot of versatility in the card. Land. Genesis. Espanol. So Genesis. 4 and a green for 4/4 Incarnation. If he's dead, at the beginning of my upkeep, I can spend 2 and a green and return a creature from my graveyard to my hand. The trick with him is to get him killed, so I can do that. Sometimes that's not so easy. Let me set him to the side. I need to think about him. So I've got all the 3 dual lands. I've got all 3 shock lands. I have a few 1/1 creatures. The other reason this is in here is if I drop Animar early and I haven't cast any creatures behind him, I think it's only happened once where somebody tried to kill him by doing 1 point of damage to him, and I saved his ass with Pendelhaven. I think this only happened once. Otherwise, it's just kind of a side card. It doesn't impact a lot of my creatures, but enough of them to be interesting. It's a low-hanging fruit. It comes into play on tap, makes green. Willbender, another morph creature, and when I flip him over, I can change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. So if somebody is going to Swords of Plowshares one of my creatures, I can flip him over and they get rid of their own creature. So he's got his dual lands, shock lands, and fetch lands. Beast Whisper, whenever he casts creature spell, draw it's 56 creatures. I'm going to cast a lot of creatures. Okay, Mystic Snake, I have no spell, no instant counter spells. All the counter spells are creatures, so I need to keep that. There's a land. Okay, Lotus Cobra. Whenever land comes into play under my control, I can add 1 mana of any color. This is here so when I get going with lands, I get free mana to cast more creatures. Animar should knock out all the colorless requirements pretty early, and he's pretty good about that. But the colored mana, that Lotus Cobra helped me get around that. So that stays land. This dude comes into play and I untap 5 lands. It's really cool if I can play him for 1 blue, tap the other lands for mana. He comes into play and I untap 5 lands. So I get 4 mana from the initial 5 lands, and then I get another 5 mana from those lands if I tap them again. Beast Color Civil. So he's hasty, 1 mana of any color, only for creatures. If he comes down in turn 2, then turn 3, I'm definitely getting Animar. Unless I'm really screwed and don't have the colors. I should have, on turn 2, either 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, right? I should have at least 2 of my 3 colors. So I drop him, whatever land follows up, let's say I get a 2nd green. Well, he can make up for it. And he's hasty. And Pendelhaven can buff him up. City of Brass, Au Francais. Sometimes I really need the mana, and so I hurt myself because I need it. This is just funny, and it's pretty rare that she actually makes an impact. I love the art. It's a signed copy. Got it at MKM specifically because it was signed. And she doesn't really do anything, so maybe I should set her to the side. I'll think about it. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 wizard. 1 blue tap. Untap target artifact an opponent controls and steal it until the end of the turn. And it gains haste. When you lose control of the artifact, tap it. So I get an artifact, it has haste, so it's a creature I can attack with it or, whatever. And then at the end of the turn I give it back tapped. Let me set her to the side. Sylvan Ranger. I need the land, she comes into play, and we'll go find whatever color I'm missing. Urbrask the Hidden. Haste Enabler. Emperor Recruiter. He finds a lot of things. He can find Mages of the Unseen if I want to be funny. He can find Mystic Snake. He can find Forgotten Ancient. So he's very valuable in the deck. Cloudstone Curio. Reason this is in here is when I play creature, I can bounce another creature to my hand. And it's a May, so I don't have to. That way I can play a creature and bounce a Mystic Snake back to my hand, so I have got another counterspell on. I can use it again as a counterspell on tap. Or something like Spike Feeder. I could play a creature, bounce a Spike Feeder back to my hand, recast it, it'll come back with 2 more counters. And it's the same thing. I can remove a counter from it to put a counter on target creature, Animar, or I can gain life. Are there better ways to gain life? Let's set that to the side. Bloodshot Cyclops. Tap, sacrifice creature, and he deals X damage to target creature player, X is sacrifice. So what I can do is make Animar huge, attack with him, kill somebody, and then somebody else is really threatening. Bloodshot Cyclops can pick up the huge Animar and throw it at dude and kill him. Unless they've got a lot of life. Land. Yeah, this is another card that's just in here because I like the art. It's kind of funny. It's an old card. Nobody plays with it anywhere else. Nobody at all. But in Animar, he should cost 1 blue for a 1/1. On my turn, before first main, I can tap him to draw a card. So it's just very cheap, reliable card draw in Animar. Tishana's Tidebinder. Counter spell on a stick. Will counter an ability on a stick. So she's come in handy before Wood Elves. Go find a dual land. Go find a shock land. Go find a color I'm missing. Breeding Pool. Ring of Calonia. Crypt Creature has trample. And at the beginning of my upkeep, if it's green, Animar is green, it gets a +1/+1 encounter. So every upkeep, every one of my upkeeps, he will get bigger. And my creatures will get cheaper. Fauna Shaman. Animar does not have Survival of the Fittest. He has Shaman of the Fittest. She costs the same as Survival with a 2/2 body. Same ability except tap. Tap, throw away creature card. Hopefully Genesis. Go find a creature card, show it to everyone, and then shuffle. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Yep. Do I really need him in here? I put him in here because he didn't have a home. I've got one in Edric, I think. And I'm not sure if I need him. Although he will deal with things that I can't really deal with otherwise. That target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a 3/3 elk. That's probably worth keeping him in here. Land. Okay, Forgotten Ancient. 300 green, 0/3. Whenever anyone plays any spell, I can put a +1/+1 counter on him. And then at the beginning of my upkeep, I can move any number of these counters from him onto something else. So if he rolls around and everybody plays 2 spells on their turns in a 4-man pod, he'll have 6 counters. So if I put all of those on Animar, in addition to whatever else he has, that's a huge reduction. That's significant. Spellskite protects Animar, so he's got protection from black and white. This dude can take the hit from things that are red or blue. You know, somebody trying to bounce him back to my hand, somebody trying to burn him with direct damage. I can say, nope. This is in here because it's a free creature. So if I've got Animar out, and I've not played a land yet this turn, I can drop Dryad Arbor, and he will get a counter. Ntuga Vigilante, another morph creature. When he flips over, I get to blow up an artifact or enchantment. Mountain. Plax Manta. Maybe I should replace this with Heroic Intervention. So this yoke has flash. When it comes into play, my creatures gain Shroud until end of turn. If I don't pay green when I play it, I have to sacrifice it. I'm not really sure if the Shroud in this environment is as helpful as it used to be. It used to be people were doing a lot of targeting creatures, targeting things. Now it seems like more blanket effects, and this does nothing about a blanket effect. Let me think about that. Calling Oracle, another card that's fallen out of favor. Hardly anybody plays it anymore. So blue-green, 1/1. When it comes into play, show off the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it in play. Otherwise, put the card. So either way, you are going to play an extra land or draw a card with this dude, which can be helpful. Lenore Reborn comes into play tapped. when with a counter on it. And whenever a creature comes into play, I can put the +1/+1 counter for Animar Reborn onto it. So let's say turn 1 or 2, I drop Animar Reborn. That way in turn 3, hopefully if I'm casting Animar, I can go and take the counter off this and put it on him, making him a 2/2, giving him a 1 mana reduction to all my other creatures. Duplicate comes into play. I can exile a non-token creature, and he gains that creature's power, toughness, and creature types. No other abilities, which kind of frustrating. I mean, if they printed it today, it would just copy that creature. So it'd gain all the other abilities, flying, death touch, whatever. But in Mirrodin, they didn't do that. Solemn Simulacrum, color agnostic method of finding a land. Manamo. I don't have good justification for Manamo. Really, the most interesting use case I can think of right now is using it to untap Animar or one of my other big legends so they can block. I don't think I have anything else in here that oh, Yavimaya Hollow. So I could untap the Yavimaya Hollow and have another regeneration on tap, assuming I have the green available. Otherwise, it's just here because it's here. Vesuvian Shapeshifter, so I can play him face down as Morph Creature for 3 colorless mana, and I can flip him over from 1 into blue, make him copy a creature. He won't copy any of their coming into play abilities because he's already in play. Unless I play him face up as that creature, so I can 3 blue, bang, copy a creature. And during my upkeep, I can put him back face down and then flip him over and copy different things. Void Mage Husher, kind of narrow. It can only target activated abilities, cannot target triggered abilities. But still, I can bounce her back to my hand if I play another spell, and then I can recast her to put another counter on Animar, trigger some other effects, and so on. So the self-bounce has proved useful. Now, that said, there's an obvious card that should be in Animar that isn't, and that is Ancestral Statue. Ancestral Statue costs 4. I believe it's a 5/3. When it comes into play, you return a creature you control to your hand. Any creature, including itself. So if you've got Animar and Ancestral Statue, you can just go bang, 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 bang. And every time you cast it and pick it back up, Animar gets a counter. So at some point, it's going to have 4 counters. Animar will have 4 counters. And then you cast it for free, pick it up. Cast it for free, 5 counters. Cast it, done. So Animar gets really big, really fast. But it's so obvious and such an easy way to end the game. You know, you make Animar 690, 690. And you attack the dude that's playing black-white. Well, he's dead. And then you throw it with Bloodshot Cyclops at the other dude, and he's dead. Then if you only got the third guy, and he's like, I'm gonna die. Yes, you are going to die. But it is pretty easy, so I took out the Ancestral Statue. I had it in here, I took it out. Ancestral Ziggurat, add 1 mana of any color to mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast 1 of the 56 goddamn creatures in your deck. Whim of Volrath. This is here. So remember, he's got protection from black and white. So for 3 mana, if somebody's going to bounce him, or beast within him, or something like that, I can change one of the words on Animar, one of the protection words, to a different color, and bounces back to my hand. And it only lasts till the end of the turn. So at the end of the turn, he will revert back to protection from black and white. But until then, if they're going to hit him with something blue, I can say, oh, he's got protection from black and blue. Sorry, your spell fizzles. And that's why that's in here. Balefire Dragon. Way wiping out tokens. I had a steel Hellkite in here. I want to get another one. I want to get a Mirrodin foil. I haven't done so. The foil one that I had in here I gave to Sharoom because she really needed it. Needed it more than Animar. So the Balefire Dragon picks up that slack. Whenever it smacks somebody, it also smacks every creature that they control. Granted, he doesn't have trample, but if I put the Stonehoof Chieftain, it will have trample. A 6/6 flying trampler that would deal 6 damage to every creature whoever gets hit controls. That sounds pretty good. Okay, I've got Manamo, I've got Shinka, I've got Okina. So legendary creature against first strike. That can be pretty cool. You know, Animar feels like 21-21. Yeah, it's 21-21 with first strike. And if the Chieftain goes in the deck, and the Chieftain 21-21 first strike, trample, indestructible. Good game. Opal Palace. There are no other elementals in the deck, I don't think. Maybe there's one or two. So I'm not going to get the... I'm thinking of Path of Ancestry. Opal Palace is different. Opal Palace is really nice in Animar because if I cast him out of the command zone, he'll get an additional +1/+1 counter for each time he's been cast from the command zone, which is exactly what I want to do. Put +1/+1 counters on him. Island, Siobhan Reef, Draining Woke, Flash. So if Animar has 4 counters, this costs as much as Counterspell, comes into play and counters a spell, and then becomes a decent-sized flying creature. Not a bad deal. Reflecting Pool. There he is. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. There's been a number of times where I've cast him for free because Animar's had 10 counters on him. When he gets cast, of course, draw 4 cards. Now there's 4. 12-12. Big, beefy motherfucker. So, he's good in this deck. Land. Alchemist's Refuge, so I can cast my creatures as though they had flash. You have my Coast. Zealous Conscripts. At 5 mana, in some decks this is okay. With Animar, granted he should be hitting... The whole deck is around Animar. The whole idea of the deck is having him play with counters on him. If I don't have him in play, if I cannot keep him in play, the deck struggles. But that's an accepted risk. That's a risk that I've chosen to make with this deck. But for 1 red, comes into play, steals a creature until end of turn. So I don't have any way of sacrificing. Well, Bloodshot Cyclops. Okay. Remember the Cloudstone Curio? So Equilibrium does the same thing, only it taxes me by making me pay 1. Whenever I cast a creature spell, I can pay 1 to return a creature to owner's hand. My creature, one of these guys, somebody's creature, it's going back. So this either helps me deal with problems, or it gets something back so I can cast it again and get another use out of its enter the battlefield ability, or just put another counter on Animar, whatever. Plexaster Frogling. Graft 3 comes to play with counters. I can move a counter when another creature comes to play. I can move a counter from this creature onto it. So another way of getting counters in Animar. Plus 2, target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains Shroud. So it can't be targeted. Hammerheim, why not? Gyre Sage. I like to put counters on her. So 1/2 for 1 and a green. Whenever a bigger creature comes into play, she gets a counter, and I can tap her for green according to the number of +1/+1 counters she has. And given that she's so... Usually she gets to about 3 counters, maybe 4, and then starts to peter out and starts to become... But still, tapping her for 4 green or 3 green, that's good. Gear Hulk, 3 green for 4/4 Trampler, comes into play. I get to assign 4 +1/+1 counters, however I feel like it, amongst my creatures. The camera's going to go. Hang on. Alright. Splice it in. So this is great with Animar. I could drop it into play, and if I don't have something like Gyre Sage or anything else, I can put the counters in Animar and reduce the cast cost from other creatures. This is a way of dealing with other creatures. Green for a 1/1. 1 in a green. Target creature control fights another target creature. If Animar is big enough, and he's going to fight a black or white creature and kill it, well, it's not going to hurt him back. Or like deal 12 damage or something. Only something with a death touch is really a threat to that. Not a whole lot of creatures bigger than 6 get into play, unless people put counters on them. But in general, you don't see that many fucking 12/12s on the battlefield. Or 10/10s. Ulamog. Yep. I've got Kozilek, I've got Ulamog. I don't have any of the other ones because I found them too oppressive. For example, the other Ulamog, the one that exiles permanents and then exiles half somebody's library when it attacks. I just don't want to do that. So I took it out of this deck and I sold it because I know how I would feel having to face that down, and I don't want to put my friends into the position of facing it down either. Even though I'm trying to kill them, I don't want to demoralize them by, there goes half your fucking library, bye. So, that guy, Bloom Tender. If Animar's in play, I tap her, and she gives me 1 mana of all my colors. Blue, green, red. This is something new that I've not played yet. Granted, the reason for that is because I haven't played Animar in about a year, I think. Let me take a sip. I haven't even played him since I put this in. So, got this, what, 6 months ago, 8 months ago? 300 green. When he comes into play, starting with me, everybody may choose an artifact or enchantment they don't control, and destroy each one chosen this way. And then with Equilibrium, I can bounce them back and do it again. Venser, Shipper Savant. I had somebody on my channel say that Venser has really fallen out of favor. I disagree. It depends on the deck. In this deck, he's pretty good. In this deck, typically he's blue, comes into play, and returns a spell or permanent. So, anything I can't deal with right now, and maybe I won't be able to deal with it later either, but at least I don't have to deal with it right now. There's one other elemental. So Moldrifter should cost 1 blue, comes into play, I get 2 cards, and I've got a 2/2 flyer. Not fantastic, but the 2 cards is nice. Feather Mage. 2 blue-green, 1/1 with Evolve, just like the Gyre Sage. Except when she evolves, I get counters, or I get cards. So her in play with Forgotten Ancient is fantastic, because each upkeep when I get to move the counters, I will put a counter on her just so I get to draw a card. There's the Foothills. There's another way to go find a color I'm missing, go find a basic land, and a color I need. Put it in my hand though. No, put it in play tapped. It comes to play tapped, so I can't use it. But if I have Lotus Cobra, I can still get the mana. Mischievous Queenar. I've never, I don't think I've ever had him in play, ever. But I leave him in for the possibilities. So the morph cost, the double blue might be tricky to keep up. I'm trying to keep up mana for another counterspell. And he only copies an instant or sorcery. He doesn't allow me to redirect it. He doesn't allow me to copy it and put it back in somebody's hand. He's not Narset's Reversal. But still, the idea that I can at least copy it and get some revenge for whatever is going on, depending on what it is, makes him interesting. Captivating Crew. Gain control of target creature an opponent controls. Untap it. Gains haste. Only as a sorcery. Do I want that though? Is that... I'm not sure if I want to keep that in there. Loaming Shaman comes into play. Target player shuffles any number of cards from his or her graveyard into the library. So this is in play in the deck for two reasons. One, opposing graveyard strategies. If somebody is playing a graveyard strategy, I can drop him. Hey, that graveyard you're hoping you're going to empty and smash this with, yeah, shelf it back in your library and then do all the work again that you did to make it so big in the first place. Or with me, if my graveyard is getting big and I'm worried about getting my creatures exiled out of the graveyard, or I just want them back, he can come into play and I can shuffle my graveyard into my library. And I don't have to do all of it. I've got a foil one of these. I should replace it. Actually, I think I found an extra Eternal Witness. So I'm going to replace her with an Eternal Witness. Well, I don't know, because it shouldn't matter. The two shouldn't matter. But anyway, I've got a foil one, so I'll replace her with the foil one. Mountain. Okina Temple. This one's really weak. This one I've never triggered. It doesn't matter. 1+1/+1. Yeah, I don't take it out because there are some edge cases where it could be relevant, but typically it's not. But because I have the other two, I keep it in here. So I like completing the cycles. The Royal Scions. 1 blue-red, Will and Rowan, 5 loyalty planeswalker. Yeah, draw a card, discard a card. Big deal. It's really in here. Target creature gets +2/+0, first strike and trample. Animar. How would you like to get first strike and trample? Yes, I would like that. I would like to punch somebody in the face real fucking hard. Do it, my minion. What's ultimate again? Draw 4 cards. When you do, deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. That can be nice. But comes into play, 6 loyalty, and then 7, and then 8, and then finally 4 turns after it's been in play would I do that, because I really want to keep giving a creature +2 first strike and trample. That's really what these two are in here for. There it is, Manamo. Not Manamo. Yavimaya Hollow. Regenerate target creature. If you don't have one of these, and you're playing green, you should get them. The prices are creeping up a bit for some reserve list cards. You should get one of these before the speculators remember what it is and start trying to speculate on it again. It's really clutch. Master Biomancer. Each other creature enters the battlefield, number of additional +1/+1 encounters on it equal to his power, and is a mutant. So all my creatures become mutants. Yeah. This is another good way to use Forgotten Nations counters. So make him like a 6/8. Put 4 counters on him. So every creature that comes into play following comes into play with 4 +1/+1 encounters. That gets out of hand pretty quickly. There's that Taiga, Azusa, Lost But Seeking. I don't have a lot of ways of drawing cards, but because I do have some ways of drawing cards, I want at least one way of playing additional lands to reduce my hand. Although with Will and Rowan, the Royal Scions, I probably want as big a hand as possible. But since I don't have anything that gives me an unlimited hand size, the biggest hand size possible at the end of my turn will be 7. So anyway, she's here. Kiga, the Tide Star. I just thought he'd be funny. She'd be funny. It would be funny. So, 5/5 flyer, Rattlesnake, because if she dies, I can get any creature. It doesn't have to be from the person that killed her. Just so it'll make people think about attacking me, or to make people think about blocking. Maybe I'll just get 5 points of damage in for free because I don't want to kill her. The Wand. Cephalid Empress. Yes, read her carefully. When Lawan, Cephalid Empress, comes into play, return all blue creatures your opponents control to their hands, and they cannot play them anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, there's been some games where she has come down and really wrecked some of my opponents. Oh, you're playing a blue-white deck. Bang! Pick up all your blue creatures, and until you deal with her, you can't play them anymore. I would hate to see that played against me, though. Men of War. When Men of War comes to play, bounce a creature back to its owner's hand. Just a cheap way of getting rid of something. I could put Sting Scourger. So Sting Scourger is 1 and a red. It's a goblin. I think it's a 2/2 with Echo. So when Sting Scourger comes into play, you return a creature an opponent controls to their hand. You can't return your creatures, just an opponent. And people get so, what the fuck? That's in red? Yeah, that's in red. It's from the Time Spiral block. It's such a weird ability to have in red that it really surprises people. But since I don't need it in this deck, because of course Animar has access to blue, I don't have the Sting Scourger in here. And then we have Urza. Urza is a bad man, according to Bigfoot. Bigfoot is playing his Pirates deck, black, blue, red. I was playing Animar, and it was down to he would either going to attack and kill me if I did not attack this turn and kill him. So I attacked him. And attacked with Animar. And the one creature he had that could have blocked Animar, I made him black. And Bigfoot said, "What?" Yes, the one creature that can block the Animar coming in for lethal damage is now black and cannot be blocked by Animar. And all your other creatures are black, tinged, or black, so they can't block. What is that? Because he'd never seen it before. And I said, well, this is Urza. Urza's a bad man. Yes, he is. Actually, I think he said Urza's an asshole. I think that was his words. Bad man was more Abdi Malik when it came to Brother Brew's African hot sauce, because had my Somali friend Abdi Malik over for dinner when I was in Seattle, and I made burritos, and I had this hot sauce called Brother Brew's African hot sauce, made by this black guy from Louisiana that had hypertension. So his doctor said, no more salt. You cannot have any more salt. And the black dude's like, I'm in Louisiana. Every hot sauce has salt. Well, you can't have any more. I can't have any more hot sauce. I'm going to die. I'd rather die. So after he recovered from the shock, he made his own hot sauce with no sodium. And it's really good and really flavorful. It's not burning hot, but it's got a lot of flavor. So if you're in the States and you can find Brother Brew's African hot sauce, I really recommend it, if they still sell it. But anyway, Abdi Malik, my burrito, I just put a little bit on, just for the flavor. And he's like, ka, 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 ka. And I said, you know, that's kind of spicy. I'm Somali, I can handle it. Okay. So he took a bite, and he's like, oh, Brother Brew is a bad man. I was like, I told you it was hot, motherfucker. You don't want to listen to me. Okay, so Stonehoof Chieftain, what do I take out? And that's for another deck. This can recover things, but I have to get him killed somehow, or discard him. And the only things I have to discard him with is the one Fauna Shaman. She's just funny, and she comes down early, so I want to keep her. Captivating Crew. I can gain control of opponent's group. I probably do want 2 of these effects. So, I don't have black, so I don't have any real sacrifice outlets. So if I get their creature, the best I can do is attack somebody with it, and hope that they kill it if it's a creature that I want to see die, right? because I can't I don't have anything to sacrifice. I don't even have high market in this deck. But he does let me take a creature. At least I have the option of taking it. And if I have Bloodshot Cyclops, then I can throw it, or I can attack with it. Or if it's a blocker that I better keep that so I've got the redundancy. So Spike Feeder comes into play with counters. I can remove the counters to put them on another creature. And I can gain life. There's not a lot of life gain in this deck. Hardly any at all, so I better keep that. Her, Timeless Witness, I'm just going to replace the foil one. So it's down to Genesis and Plax Manta. So Plax Manta, I can instantly give my creature Shroud, but do I care about that? Sometimes I do. So then we come to Genesis. 5 for a 4/4. If he's dead, I can return a creature from my graveyard. But then I've got Lone Speaker Shaman, so I guess I'll take out Genesis. My Spanish Genesis Encarnacion. It's not in the best condition. It's pretty scuffed up. I got it from a friend that used to play with us years ago, Ricardo. Ricardo is, his father was from Costa Rica, his mother was Slovakia. And Ricardo loved foils. He loved them as much as I do. But he wasn't as picky about the condition as I am. And because of the way his employment situation was, every so often he would run into a money crunch. So he'd sell me some stuff. His foils. And one time he sold me his foil mirrored in Solemn Simulacrum. And he regretted it almost immediately. And every week after that, once he recovered from this current financial crisis, he's like, hey, are you going to sell me back my Solemn Simulacrum? I said, your Solemn Simulacrum, you sold it to me. You sold it to me for a fair price. It's mine. No. And he kept at it. Fine. I said, okay, fine. I'll sell it to you again. So I sold him his Solemn Simulacrum back, and I took the money, put it in my bank account, and added the 5 or 6 euros extra I needed to go on MKM and buy a near mint copy. So he got his back, so he was happy, and I got another foil one, so I was happy. So everybody was happy. It was kind of like, basically it was the magic version of a pawn shop. I was the magic version of a pawn shop for Ricardo. And with that, I mean, my God, it's 40 minutes after I splice these together. I don't really have time for Curador, so I'll make another video and I'll post that one. This will go live tonight, which is Saturday. What's today's number? Saturday, November 23rd, Year of the Lord 2024. So this goes live Saturday. I'll do a Curador video and I'll post that for Sunday or Monday, the day after this goes live. So you can look forward to that. Cheers.